Hello and welcome back to Building on a Budget Models. I'm Thomas and today we're going to be unboxing this, the Revell 1/24th scale Red Bull Racing RB8, and this is the Sebastian Vettel version, but we also have the Mark Webber version. Basically, in the 2000s, Revell decided maybe it was a way of making more money to divide their racing car kits into different sets depending on who the driver was. So as you can see here, we've got the Vettel version, and here we've got the Mark Webber version. Now what's inside is slightly different, but not too different. The Webber version is in slightly better nick, so we'll have a look at what's inside here. So we've got some tyres, got a lot of blue sprues, some instructions, and also some decal sheets there. And there we have it. You can see on here we've got some information, some photos here of the prototype version, information about recommended colours. It says true to original front and rear spoilers, multi-part 8-cylinder engine, detailed wheel suspension, true to original underbody including diffuser, authentic tyres and rotating wheels, detailed cockpit, typical stepped nose, authentic decals for the RB8, and driver Mark Webber in the versions for Australia, Monaco and India. Now if we compare that to the other, you'll see that the pictures on the side are slightly different. That has the number 1 on the nose. And if we look over here, you can see authentic decals for the RB8 and driver Sebastian Vettel in the versions for Bahrain, Germany and India. So, different races. Colours are the same. So as you can see here, we've got both instruction booklets. There is a slight difference in the spiel on the front due to the biography of the two drivers. With the Red Bull RB8, the racing team of the Austrian energy drinks manufacturer put their 8th car in the line on the racetrack. In 2004, Red Bull had taken over the Jaguar team, and the RB1 was a slightly modified version of the Jaguar racer developed by Mark Smith and Rob Taylor. The first driver in the 2005 season was David Coulthard, and the second cockpit was split between Christian Klein and Vitantonio Luizzi. In the 2006 season, a completely new car was built incorporating a Ferrari engine. In the next season, the car was designed for the first time by Adrian Newey, and the engines came from Renault. In 2007, Mark Webber came on board as a Red Bull racing driver, and when David Coulthard announced his retirement at the end of 2008, Sebastian Vettel took his place with Red Bull Racing. Adrian Newey had designed a completely new car, enabling the car to win 6 titles. In the following season, their star rose. Newey had developed a car that was good overall, and Vettel used it to take his first World Championship title. He gained 5 wins in a dramatic last race, secured the World Championship in Abu Dhabi. Webber also had 4 wins, and Red Bull Racing took the Constructors World Championship. They continued on their successful way. In the 2011 season, Vettel won 11 Grand Prix. In 2012 with the RB8 he won 5 Grand Prix in Bahrain, Singapore, Japan, Korea and India. He took his 3rd driver's title in succession. In 101 Grand Prix races he stood on the podium 46 times, 26 as winner, and started 36 times in pole position. Mark Webber had made his F1 debut with Minardi in 2002, followed by an engagement with Jaguar over the years 2003 and 4. In 2005 he changed over to Williams, where for the first time he took 3rd place on the podium in Monaco. In 2007, his first year for the ex-Jaguar team, now called Red Bull Racing, he made it to the podium and came 3rd in the European Grand Prix. Then in 2009 with the RB5, Webber had his first win in the German Grand Prix. In the 2010 season he won 4 more Grand Prix, and by the end of 2012 the Australian had taken part in 196 Grand Prix and won 9. He'd stood on the podium 34 times and started 11 times in pole position. The Red Bull Racing RB8 is the 3rd evolutionary stage of the RB5 designed by Adrian Newey. The engine type RS27 2012 was designed by Renault. The gearbox is their own make and tyres were contributed by Pirelli. The step nose required by the rules gave the racer a highly original appearance, but without detriment to performance. Mark Webber used the qualities of the RB8 to win 2 first, 1 second and 1 third place. He started twice in pole position, and at the end of the 2012 season he took 6th place and the driver's standing. With the RB8 he called Abbey, Sebastian Vettel was able to win 5 Grand Prix, he battled for his 3rd World Championship in the series, and ultimately Red Bull Racing won their 3rd Constructors World Championship in succession. And if we go to the parts list, you can see that these kits are basically identical, the only difference being this 55 and 54 part and the 56 and 57 over here. The rest completely identical parts. So the variation is in the instructions and the decals, and as you see down here, that for the Webber version you've got Monaco, Australia and India, and for the Vettel version you've got Bahrain, Germany and India. So if you wanted to make them look for the same race, you'd want to put them both set up for India. Now we're going to look at the Vettel instructions here, because that's the one I'm going to be building. I will be building the Webber one eventually, but I will tell you a bit about that in a bit. So you can see here we'll start with the engine, moving on to putting it on with the floor. Now there aren't really that many decal instructions as you go through here, but as I'll show you later, yeah, here they are. You can see decals there. You may want to put these on initially because these are carbon fibre decals, and you may want to clear coat those. More carbon fibre here on the suspension. And then here the rather complicated part of adding some of these bodywork pieces. There's a clear visor, steering wheel, there's even a decal on the steering wheel. Parts of the seat, and these vary depending on what race. And as you can see here, some of the sponsors on the external parts also vary depending on race. Here's some of the aero parts vary, but it's nice that those options have been provided. It's important to drill here if you're adding these cameras, I believe they are. And here you've got different styles of wings for different races. 2010s you had the era of very wide front wings compared to the rear wing, which was very narrow. And here for the tyres, it actually has different decal options depending on whether you want to use softs or mediums. The rather extensive decal instructions for the whole car. It's a real shame that these aren't in colour, because that would really help. And yet, if I compare that to this, you'll see that the pictures look very similar, but you've got different options for the different races. So we'll start going through some of the sprues. This one was bought secondhand from eBay, but it was unstarted. So firstly, in here we've got the bodywork. We'll look at this first. You can see there the stepped nose, which was a really weird aerodynamic feature which they brought in the early 2010s. I think it was something to do with the tip of the nose needing to be a certain amount of distance from the floor. Got parts of the wheels here. There's also another piece in the middle there. I'm not sure what that is. As with a lot of Revell kits, the wheels are in multi-parts. As with things like this, you need to be really careful not to lose things, because there's one of the wing mirrors that's just fallen off. And in here you can see we've got the underside of the nose, part of the cockpit, steering wheel. I think those are the paddle shifters. Lots more small parts. There's the pedals. These are parts of the side pods, I think. Other part of the tail, I think that is. The seat, it's got moulded seat belts. So you can sand those out, or you could just cover them up. And more parts of the side pods there. And then as well in that sprue we have these clear parts. So you've got that visor for the cockpit, and you've also got that tail light there. You can see, I think those are parts of the side pods. We've got parts of the wings here, exhaust, some little aero sections here, more exhausts, and that's one of the options for the end plates. No, there are others. There's the little camera aero part that goes on top of the air intake. I think that's part of the suspension for maybe the front wheels. We've got more parts for the wheels here. The front wing there, like wide piece. I think that's the top. I think you've got those pinpoints there. All sort of aero flaps and things. Here we've got the brakes. We've got the snorkel that goes down onto the engine. I think these are the end plates for the front wing. I think that goes on top of the V8 engine. More aero parts here too. So we've got more part of the front suspension here, another part there, part of the Renault V8 that powered this car, another part of the engine that goes on top. That's the air intake on the top of the car. That goes under the nose, I think. More parts of the engine here, another part of suspension. A lot of bits in this model. So here we've got the other option for those rear wing end plates. We've got that suspension there. Got the floor here. You can see there. 2013 Revell GmbH, and then code Red Bull Racing RB8. Some diffuser detail there. Tyres. These were the Pirelli slicks, which were relatively new in 2012. I think maybe they were introduced in 2011. But yeah, nice good quality there. The Vettel version was a bit more worse for wear, as you can see with the decal sheets here. So unfortunately, there's a little bit of water damage here with the Vettel decal sheet. So what I will do is I will borrow some of the end plate decals from the Webber version to use on the Vettel version. You can see the decals look very similar. It's interesting as well how you've got some options here. So for instance, like the yellow nose here, they've left it blank in case you want to spray paint the yellow nose, or you could use the decal. They've also got another version of the yellow nose without the carbon fibre, so that you can also use that. It's a bit bent out of shape, but then this kit is nearly 10 years old. But yeah, I think the only real distinctions that you can see between the two kits is that this one has number 2 on it, number 1, and of course you've got Webber and the Australian flag there, and Vettel and the German flag there. There may be some sponsor variations. I know obviously these decals are different depending on what race you use. If there are sponsor variations, I can't see them. I know as well the colours here for the top of the camera on top of the car is different. But yeah, I know that these are going to be a little bit complicated, but you know, hopefully they should turn out a really good result when finished. As well as that, as I said before, we've got 2 sets of tyre decals. You've got the yellows and the whites, but those are very nice. But there we have it. There we've got both of these kits. So as I said, I'll be building the Sebastian Vettel version. Very sorry to any Mark Webber fans out there, but part of the reason I'm doing this is because Vettel is just retiring. Just recently announced his retirement. I'll be building this in the autumn. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you soon.